Welcome to Conversations Across Time, the podcast where we bring together history's greatest minds. I'm your host, Dr. Samantha Wells. Today, we have a truly electrifying episode for you. We're joined by two titans of science, Marie Curie, the pioneer of radioactivity, and Nikola Tesla, the wizard of electricity. Let's tune into their fascinating discussion.
Hello, Nikola. It's wonderful to see you. I must say, your hair is looking particularly electrifying today.
Madam Curie, always a pleasure. I'd offer you a handshake, but I'm afraid I might give you a shock, and not just with my charming personality.
Oh, Nikola, always the showman. I suppose that's one area where we differ. I prefer to let my discoveries speak for themselves.
But where's the fun in that? Science should be a spectacle. Speaking of which, I've been meaning to ask you, Marie, how did you manage to make radioactivity so radiant?
Well, it wasn't easy, especially as a woman in science. But I found that a little polonium and radium go a long way. Though I must admit, the constant glowing did make it hard to sleep at night.
I can relate. The constant buzzing of electricity in my lab kept me up many nights. But tell me, Marie, how did you navigate the challenges of being a woman in a male-dominated field?
It wasn't without its difficulties, Nikola. I had to work twice as hard to be taken seriously. But I let my research speak for itself. When you discover two new elements and win 2 Nobel Prizes, it's hard for even the most stubborn critics to ignore you.
Impressive indeed. Though I must say, I've always wondered, why focus on something as dangerous as radioactivity? Wouldn't you rather have pursued a safer field, like, I don't know, electricity?
And risk being electrocuted like some inventors I know? No, thank you. Besides, the potential applications of radioactivity in medicine were too important to ignore. But speaking of danger, Nikola, why did you insist on chasing impractical inventions like wireless energy transmission?
Impractical. My dear Marie, you wound me. Wireless energy is the future. Imagine a world where power can be transmitted anywhere without the need for cumbersome wires. It's not impractical. It's visionary.
Visionary, perhaps. But at what cost? Your obsession with it nearly ruined you financially. Sometimes, we scientists need to balance our dreams with reality.
Perhaps you're right, but I couldn't help but dream big. It's in my nature. Though I must ask, how did you deal with the dangers of working with radioactivity when it wasn't well understood?
There's a rub. We didn't fully comprehend the risks at first. I carried test tubes of radium in my pocket and kept them in my desk drawer, marveling at their beautiful blue-green light. It wasn't until years later that we realized the toll it was taking on our health.
That must have been terrifying. At least with electricity, the dangers were more immediate.
Yes. I suppose there's something to be said for instant feedback. But despite the risks, the potential benefits of radiation in medicine drove me forward. My work laid the foundation for radiation therapy and cancer treatment.
Remarkable. It's fascinating how our work, though different, has shaped the modern world. My alternating current system powers homes and businesses worldwide, and my contributions to radio technology paved the way for wireless communication.
Indeed. It's humbling to think about, isn't it? Our discoveries have outlived us, continuing to impact lives long after we're gone.
Speaking of living on, Marie, I've often wondered, if you could have dinner with any element you discovered, which would it be?
Oh, Nikola. Always with the unusual questions. Well, I suppose I'd choose polonium. It was my firstborn, after all, though I imagined the conversation might be a bit radioactive.
Well, I'd be happy to join you. I'll bring the electricity for mood lighting. We could call it a glowing double date.
Oh dear, your puns are truly shocking, Nikola.
And on that electrifying note, we'll have to wrap up this fascinating conversation. Thank you, Marie Curie and Nikola Tesla, for sharing your insights, experiences, and playful banter with us today.
It was our pleasure, Dr. Wells.
Indeed. Perhaps next time we can discuss my peace ray.
Oh, Nikola.
Well, that's certainly something to look forward to. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Conversations Across Time. Remember, in the words of Marie Curie, nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Until next time, keep questioning, keep discovering, and keep pushing the boundaries of science.